Yo, 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 it's me, Camden. What's good? Welcome to Album of the Week. It's Monday, 7th of August, and my album of the week last week was Los Angeles by Flying Lotus. A logical progression from last week's pick, you know, another beat tape here, basically. But this time a little bit less directly hip-hop adjacent. This time it's a bit more cosmic. There's a real shimmering sort of sheen to Los Angeles, and I've only really begun to adore that with my whole heart this past week. Weirdly enough, you know, Flying Lotus is an artist that I have been listening to for nearly 10 years of my life, and I would consider this guy to be one of my biggest inspirations creatively, and in my opinion, just generally, one of the most talented individuals alive. Like, oh my goodness, not even just on a production, like, beat making perspective, like on a visual, visionary filmmaking perspective as well. This dude is just a force to be reckoned with. Seriously, if you ever find yourself in a conversation regarding the weirdest film you've ever seen, I highly doubt anyone will mention a film weirder, stranger than Kuso, directed by Flying Lotus. That film is seared into my brain forever. Flying Lotus, aka Steven Ellison, found himself signed to Warp Records, electronic music titans, right there, back in 2007, 2008, which then led to the release of this record, his debut on Warp Records, Los Angeles. This record is considered a classic in the electronic music scene by a lot of people for good reason. It kind of blended hip-hop beat structure with really meticulous, creative IDM sounds. Picture like a Nujabes mixed with like an Aphex Twin or something like that. That's what this record was kind of getting at, and I think that was extremely boundary pushing. When I first heard this record, honestly, I didn't really see it in that like groundbreaking, mind-blowing light. After having already heard the subsequent albums that Flying Lotus would then go on to release after Los Angeles, you know, talking about like Cosmogram, You're Dead. Those records are much more maximalist. They fully realize the ideas and sounds that Los Angeles was kind of hinting at. So when I go back and listen to Los Angeles, I'm thinking, it's not quite as exciting to me. But actually, this week, that whole perspective shifted. Whereas before, even though I enjoyed it, I felt like it was missing something. Now I think that missing piece is the strength of the record, man. A great example of this would be the track Camel. Like, there's not a huge amount going on musically, but it's just the way these drums are like clanging against each other so rhythmically, and then you have those samples and those chords melodically providing a real good groundwork for a good tune. Like, it's just such a wonderfully composed track despite its simplicity, and I think that is where I really started to find some magic in Los Angeles, which I didn't previously. Like, Steven really builds fully formed scenes, like movie-esque scenes in my head with the most limited tools on Los Angeles, which is amazing. It's a joyous reminder that you don't need the most advanced, like freaking, you know, overwhelmingly like dense and complex suite of sounds and synths and plugins and software to create refreshing, exciting music. As a producer myself, you know, that's often kind of like a way I put my work down. You know, I'll look at it and be like, oh, this kind of sounds similar to this, or this sounds similar to that. It's not exciting enough, it doesn't sound fresh enough. But no, like, it's albums like this and like Untrue by Burial as well. You can make fire, amazing, dazzling music out of anything. If you just have the ideas, you can do that. Like, record yourself smacking a spoon against the wall, go outside, record some birds chirping, just use whatever's around you. If you have a good song inside you, it will find its way to come to life, no matter what the tools are. Throughout Los Angeles, you hear a lot of these laser sounds and spacey, sci-fi-esque little bleeps and bloops, white noise, like static permeating throughout it. It kind of makes it sound as if you're discovering or listening to some old alien relic. The track Golden Diva is my personal favorite example of this. I think the album gets the most like busy and chaotic on the track Comet Course. This was always my favorite track before. First listen, I was like, yeah, that's the one right there, because I think that's the most similar to the future Flying Lotus music. Like, that track would fit pretty cleanly on Cosmogramma to me, and Cosmogramma is like an honest-to-God contender for my favorite record of the entire 2010s, so that's high praise. Honestly, still, 15 years later sounds futuristic in a way, just really fresh. Whilst it does sound really forward-thinking and very alien and just cosmic, like I said earlier, there's a very natural organic quality to it as well. Like, look at the track Breathe Something Stellar Star. This is the second track on the record, and on this song we're hearing something that's very recognizably familiar as a hip-hop, groovy, funky beat, but it's filtered through what sounds like a time machine. It feels like it's just rupturing inside out and just fragmenting at the seams, and it's just so hypnotic to listen to. Overall, this past week I've been very pleasantly reminded that there's still nothing else like Los Angeles by Flying Lotus, man. It's a really funky and really celestial treat of a listen that stands up insanely well today, and I really do think you should absolutely consider listening to it in full if you haven't already, because it's great. Give it a go at some point. Why not? And that's my album of the week. I'm gonna go dive into some more music, find a new album of the week, and I'll let you know what that is next week.